Hey, I get it when you're running a small office or a remote team. The idea of tossing a pricey hardware firewall into the mix feels like a gamble. You're wondering if you'll actually see a return on that investment, or if you'll end up with another box of tech you barely touch. It's especially tricky when you've heard buzz about unified threat protection and secure SD-WAN, but you don't know how those promises translate into day-to-day security for your employees. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. Let's walk through what it actually looks like to set up and run the Fortinet FortiGate 61F, and figure out whether it's the right fit before you hand over your budget. First off, the FortiGate 61F sits in the middle of Fortinet's 60 series lineup, targeting businesses that have outgrown consumer-grade routers but aren't quite at the enterprise scale yet. The hardware is compact enough to slip behind a desk or mount in a small rack, and it comes with a 12-month unified threat protection subscription baked in. That subscription is the part that does the heavy lifting. It pulls in FortiGuard's cloud-based signatures, sandboxing, and web filtering updates without you having to patch anything manually. In practice, that means the moment you power the unit on and point it at your internet connection, you have a baseline defense that blocks known malware, phishing sites, and a lot of the ransomware chatter that's been flooding inboxes lately. Now, let's talk about the real-world setup. I've seen a handful of IT managers describe the zero-touch integration as a game-changer, and that's not just marketing fluff. When you log into FortiOS for the first time, the wizard walks you through connecting the device to FortiGate's security fabric. The process auto-discovers any existing FortiGate appliances in your network, pulls in policy templates, and then gives you a single pane of glass to monitor traffic. For a team that doesn't have a dedicated network engineer, that reduces the learning curve dramatically. The only hiccup I've noticed is that the initial UI can feel a bit dense. There's a lot of tabs and toggles, and if you're used to a simple router admin page, you might need to spend an hour watching Fortinet's quick start videos before you feel comfortable tweaking policies. So, who actually benefits from the 61F? If you're running anywhere from 5 to 50 employees, especially if some of those folks are remote or you have a branch office that needs a secure connection back to the main site, this appliance shines. The built-in SD-WAN capabilities let you blend multiple internet links, say a broadband line and a 4G LTE fallback, without needing a separate router. The traffic steering is policy-driven, so you can prioritize VoIP calls over bulk file downloads, and the device will automatically shift those streams to the best available link. That kind of reliability matters if you run a call center, a design studio that streams large assets, or any operation where downtime translates straight into lost revenue. On the flip side, if you're a solo freelancer with a single broadband connection and you're already using a good consumer firewall on your router, the 61F might be overkill. The hardware cost, plus the subscription, is more than you'd spend on a high-end Wi-Fi mesh system. Also, the device doesn't have built-in Wi-Fi radios, so you'll still need a separate access point if you want wireless coverage. That's fine for most small businesses that already have an AP, but it adds a layer of planning you need to account for. When it comes to practical strengths, the first thing users notice is the depth of application visibility. FortiGate can identify thousands of apps flowing through your network, from the obvious like Zoom or Slack to the obscure, like a custom ERP client. That visibility lets you enforce granular rules, such as blocking a cloud storage app during business hours or allowing only a specific version of a SaaS tool. The unified threat protection also means you're not juggling separate antivirus, web filter, and intrusion prevention subscriptions. Everything is bundled and updated daily. In real deployments I've read about, the device has stopped ransomware from spreading laterally across the LAN simply by quarantining the infected endpoint the moment the malicious payload was detected. The weaknesses are a bit subtler but worth mentioning. The 61F's throughput caps at around 10 gigabits per second of firewall throughput, which is plenty for a small office, but if you start pushing a lot of high-definition video streams or large file transfers simultaneously, you'll see the performance dip under heavy load. The SD-WAN feature, while powerful, does require a bit of policy design. If you just enable it and walk away, the device will default to best effort routing, which might not align with your cost optimization goals. Lastly, because FortiGuard's cloud signatures are tied to that 12-month subscription, you're locked into renewing if you want to keep the same level of protection. Some buyers have expressed surprise at the renewal cost after the first year, so it's something to budget for ahead of time. Let's paint.